Well, welcome back, guys. Welcome to my tutorial, second part of this image. For those who haven't seen the first video, we're currently trying to do this image, redo this image. We started out from a very different point because this is the original image straight out of the camera. So there's a big improvement between this and this where we want to get. And we left the first video on this image. So what we did up to now was all the Lightroom adjustments in terms of luminosity, in terms of color. So basically, we worked the raw file to get an okay luminosity. We reworked the color to have warmer colors within the buildings, and then we applied graduated filter to get the blue back into the sky. Additionally, we toned down the highlights of this point here because it was very bright. So what needs to do to get to that final image is that now we're gonna take this work into Photoshop, where we're gonna create the reflections and do the final adjustments. So we're gonna start right now. So let's get started where we were. So we're working on this image. I'm gonna now open it into Photoshop. For that, I'm gonna right-click on it. I'm gonna put Edit in Adobe Photoshop CC 2015. I'm gonna pause the video while it's charging, and then I'll see you inside Photoshop. So we're in Photoshop right now. So what we're going to start doing are the reflections. So to do so, I'm going to select the rectangle selection tool, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle here on the upper part of the image, which is the only part we're going to keep from this original image. Here we're fine. I'm just going to do a copy and paste. So Command C on Mac, Control C on a PC. So I just copied, and then I'm going to do File, Open New Document, and Photoshop is going to automatically size the document to the size of my selection here. So I'm just going to press OK here, and Command V or Control V to copy. So the first thing we need to do right now is to get a canvas that's double the size and height of this one. To do so, I'm going to open Layer, Canvas Size, Image, Canvas Size, and I have the dialog box. So here I'm going to press 200%, I'm going to put in percent, and I want the height to be twice as tall as it is today, so I'm going to press 200%. Here you have the entry point, so you need to put the entry point here on the upper part, because if you keep it here, what's going to happen is that the image is going to expand partly on the top and partly on the bottom. So it's not going to be useful. So what you want here is to tell Photoshop to expand the canvas, but on the lower part, since we don't have any width changing. So so it's just the height that's going to change, and it's going to go below the existing image. So I'm going to press OK, and here we are. I'm going to zoom out, Z to zoom. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do here is that I'm going to duplicate that layer. So there's a hotkey in Photoshop, it's Command J, or you can drag it to this little icon here. It looks like a sheet of paper, and it automatically creates a new layer copying the first one. So here I'm going to start naming it. This is the skyline layer with the upper part, and this is going to be the reflection layers. So I put reflection with an X in English. I'm not very sure it's spelled that way, so if I'm wrong, I'm really sorry for it, but I'm French. I think I said it in the beginning, and you can notice from my accents. So what I want to do right now is to turn this into a reflection. So we're going to have to flip the image over. To do so, I'm going to go in Edit, Free Transform, and the hotkey here is Command or Control T. And I'm going to make sure that Snapped is selected. And I'm just going to take that little box here, put my mouse on that little box, and bring the image down like this. So here, if you go in the layer panel, you're going to see I have two layers now. I have one with the skyline. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to press enter. Sorry. So I have one with the skyline. If I mask the reflection layer, you can see it here. And I have one with the reflection. If I mask the skyline layer, you're going to see it here. So I have my reflection on one layer and I have my skyline on one layer, which is going to be easier as we will work on specific adjustments on reflections. So right now, what we're going to do right now is to blur the reflections. So to do so, I go into Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. Okay, so I have the dialog box here. So what motion blur does is that it blurs in a specific angle. Here it's 90 degrees. So just to have you understanding it, if I place it like that at an angle 0, it's going to blur totally vertically. So what you want to do is, in this case, to blur, no, sorry, it was going to blur horizontally. Now it's to blur vertically is what we want. I can increase the blur effect or decrease it. Okay, like around 75%. So I'm going to press OK. So as you notice, what the blur did is it created a gap here between the two layers. So I'm going to correct this. So I'm going to select my reflection layer. And I'm going to select the move tool, and with my keyboard up and down arrows I'm just going to adjust here, just going to adjust it up. Here we are, so we just close the gap. From there, what you want to do is to darken your reflections. I don't know if you notice reflections normally in nature, they are darker than the objects they reflect, and also they are less saturated. In this case, it's composites. It's a work of art. I'm not gonna desaturate the reflection. I like it to stay vivid and have nice colors. So I'm just going to apply a curves adjustments in order to darken a little bit the reflection. So there's many ways to do it, but I like to use curves. So here is the panel of the adjustment layers that you can apply to your images. I can either click here, or what I'm used to do, go in that little circular icon and select curves. So basically what it did, it added a curve layer on top of my other layers. If I use it like that, what's going to happen is that that layer is going to affect everything that's under. So if I adjust it, it's going to adjust both layers. I don't want that. I want it to adjust just the reflection layer. So what I'm going to do here, this little trick, I'm going to paste that curves layer to the reflection layer. To do so, either I double click here or I go into properties here. I'm going to check that little box here. That box will create here, I don't know if you can see it well, a little arrow. That means that that curve adjustments will only affect the layer below. If I wanted to affect the skyline layer, I would have to place the curve adjustment between the two layers, and then I would have snapped it to the skyline layer in the same way I just snapped it to the reflection layer. So let me go into properties, and now it's going to darken my reflections only. Okay. So basically we have a nice composite now. So I'm just going to do at this point some fine adjustments. I'm going to adjust the overall. I want to get more dramatic or more pop effect within the building. So I'm going to do two things for that. I'm going to adjust the macro contrast, and then I'm going to sharpen the image. And after that, we'll do something I just discovered when I was preparing this video that I didn't have. I'm going to put a little glow out of it. So the first thing is that to do the contrast, the macro contrast adjustment, the dynamic contrast adjustment, I will need to go within an external plugin that's called Nik Collection, Nik Color Effects Pro 4. So to do that, I need to create a new layer that will be that will be a merge between all those three layers that I have here. I can do it two ways. Okay, I can either right click here and go to flatten image or merge visible. Okay, but then I will this destroys the work. I don't have any more details, so I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm gonna undo that. To undo, it's Option Command Z or Alt Control Z on a PC. And what I want to do, I just want to add a new layer that's going to be the merge of the three. I honestly don't know how to do that with the menu, so I know the shortcuts, so I'm going to tell you the shortcut. The shortcut is Shift, Option, Command E on a Mac, or Shift, Alt, Control E on a PC. So I'm going to do it right now, so it's Shift, Alt, Command E. So what it did actually is that it created a layer on top of all of them that is the merge of these three layers. So on that layer, I will apply the effect. I can now go into external filter. You need a layer to go into external filters. So I'm going to press Filter. I'm going to go into Nik Collection, and I'm going to select Color Effect Pro 4. But before I do that, I'd like to just a word on Nik Collection. You probably know it, that it's a very famous photo suite. But in case you don't know it, there's an incredible advantage to that suite, is that it's totally free. Nik Collection was a standalone company when it first began. Was said that they started commercializing that color effect suite at $800. Then it went down to less than $300, and then Google bought Nik. And actually, Google a few months back decided to place this suite for free. So today it's totally free, and it's really powerful suites of several plugins that go into Photoshop and into Lightroom. I don't know all of them, to be honest. I think Analog FX does a lot of texture and special effects on your images. Color Effects is you're going to see it right now. It's there are many filters that affect colors and that can do color effects on your images. Sharpener tools, and Silver Effects Pro, which is for turning your color photos into black and white. So let's go here into Color Effects Pro 4. So we're back into color effects. This is a glamour glow effect. Open it here. So here you have the way. So first of all, I'm really sorry. This is in French. I haven't really figured out how to put it in English at the moment. I need to put my head around that. You have a lot of effects, black and white, back color filters, bleach bypass. You can increase the brilliance and the warmth of your image. Let's see what it does here. Yeah. Well, you have many effects you can you can apply to your image. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do a pro contrast. So I need to go here, pro contrast. Pro contrast has three main levers, okay? The first one is correct color cast. So what this does is that it noticed that the image was quite cold. So it will apply some sort of a warming filter. So if you can look at the buildings here, they get warmer in tones than what we had originally. I kind of like it. I kind of like it because this image relies on color, and the contrast between warmer tones here in the buildings and blue sky brings forward the composition. So I'm going to apply, it's already a little warm here. I'm just going to apply it a little bit. The second lever here is correct contrast. So this basically corrects the contrast that's inside your image. It's a general adjustment, not a micro adjustment. As you can see, it just brought a lot my highlights up, which I don't want here because it doesn't look very nice. So I'm not going to touch this one. This is dynamic contrast. Dynamic contrast is probably the more interesting feature here in that pro contrast filter. What it actually does is that it goes into the detail level and it increases the contrast within the details. So instead of a general contrast image, it just pulps and makes your image a little more vibrant. Not usually. This is something I use a lot, and usually it adds a lot of clarity within your image. All images are different, no? But usually it's a good, it's a very nice little adjustment. I recommend you use it and you try it, and you may have very good surprises on your images. So here, let's see what happens. It brightens a lot the image, which is fine. I'm going to leave it around 13%. Those two here, this is highlights and shadows, whites and blacks, exactly. So this is to protect, because since we're talking about contrast, it increases the highlights and and lowers the shadows. If you want to protect your image in order to avoid having burn elements, you just here set them. Because it didn't do much in the highlights. You don't see much difference here in the highlights, but look at the shadows. So I'm just gonna put it up to 20%. So if you want to check before, after, before, after, it just added some more punch within the image. It did highlight, increase a lot the highlights, and we have the problem in this image with this, and this. But we could probably go into Lightroom later on and rework it a little bit. So I'm not very much. So this is going to take some time. So I'm just gonna pause the video and come back to you once the filter is applied. So, so the filter was applied. So you have two options here. We started out on this layer. You have the option within color effects to apply the effect directly onto the layer you selected initially, or to place it on a new layer. I prefer to have it on a new layer because I like to fine-tune the adjustments here. Maybe it's a bit bright here, so maybe I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. See. Okay, so Now we're gonna sharpen that image. So again, I'm gonna create a new layer using my complicated hotkey, which is Shift Option Command E on a Mac or Shift Alt Control E on a PC. And I have that new layer here. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna apply a high pass filter. So I'm gonna go in Filter, Other, and High Pass. Okay, this is what I really like to do. So what the high pass does is that it's put it all to gray, and it underlines the every edges and every border with the radius that you fix here. So I fixed 3 pixel radius because this is I think it's a 36 megapixel image. I think I took it with my A7R, and usually 3 pixel radius works very well for 36 megapixel. If I had to shoot on this beautiful Olympus camera, 16 megapixel, I would probably use a radius of 1.5. So you really need to adapt your radius to the total megapixel of your image. So I'm going to press OK here, and now what I want is the gray to disappear and just keep the lines here. And for that, I'm going to put it on the blend mode that's called overlay. So I don't know if you can really see from this far on the video, but it did give a little more shine to the buildings. It did give more shine to the buildings. Actually, I forgot to do something. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to redo that. I think I have noise on this image, so let me check. Yes, I have noise on this image. I don't know if you can see it, but I have some noise. So I need to denoise the image first. So I'm going to go to Filter. I have a plugin for that. It's called Noiseware from ImageNomic. There are many plugins. The noise reduction softwares are usually very, very fine. I prefer to use the plugins than to use them into Lightroom, but many others don't. So I don't know if you can see it. Here you see the noise, and here you don't have it. I already had my settings set. I don't want to get into the detail of that in the video. So it's applying the filter, and now I'm going to sharpen the image, because otherwise what happens is that it's going to sharpen the noise. Usually you should mask out also the elements you don't want to sharpen, like water, sky. So I'm going to duplicate that, Command J, and I'm going to apply my high pass filter just as we did it. So since we've already seen it, I'm going to go very fast here. Put it on 70% opacity. So filter, other, high pass, 3 pixel radius, okay, and overlay. So now it's open. I don't know if you can see it, but it does make a lot of difference on my screen. Let's zoom in for you guys to see it properly. Here's without the sharpening, here's with the sharpening. So image is more bright, more precise, more fine. Okay, I'm gonna do a last trick here. When I was preparing this video, I realized that normally my original image, from here I just finished it, but I'd like to add a little glow on top of that. I thought it was kind of nice, so let's do it. So again, I'll Shift Alt Command E, Control E, okay, to get the entire layer, and I'm going to apply again Color Efex Pro 4. I'm going to pause the video now until it gets into it, because it's a bit long. So we're in Color Efex Pro 4. Put it here. I'm gonna do the Glamour Glow. Where is it? It's here. So without the glow, with the glow. So let me see if I increase it. Okay, so here, this is the glow, the level you want to add. So this is the level you want to add into the image. I can go a bit far. How saturated you want your colors to be and your glow to be. We can either go for a very saturated look or for something that's more neutral. I don't know. Maybe I like more neutral. And this is whether you want a cold glow or a warm glow. So it's already pretty well contrasted, the image with the warmth, so I don't want to add too much warmth. And again, it's protecting the shadows and protecting the highlights. So here's before the glow, after the glow. Nice, huh? I think it's nice. Okay. So let's press OK here. I'm going to pause the video. So the adjustment's been applied. Here was before, here's after. It may be a bit strong, so I'm going to back it up, the opacity of it. So when I back up the opacity, I just lower the effect. It takes 68% of the effect here and 32 of the layer below. Yeah, I think it's nice here. I'm gonna leave it that way. So, my friends, I think we're done with Photoshop here. I'm gonna save it and back into Lightroom. So File, Save As. Okay, kind of work this one out. I'm gonna put V3 here. Okay, and save. So the saving process is long, so I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to meet you back into Lightroom. So welcome back, we're in Lightroom now. So I saved the image and I reported it into Lightroom. So here's what we worked on. Here was my previous image. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to crop it. So this is the crop tool. I usually use the golden ratio grid. Okay. Okay. So I need to unlock the original proportions. So here I'm gonna go a little bit here, a little bit here, and what I like to do is to keep the buildings majoritarily within that area, of the crop tool. So I'm gonna press enter and we have a winner. So if I compare it to the one we had, the crop is a bit bigger here, and we added that little glow. So what I want to do, it's loading. Okay, what I want to do is maybe, let's see if I lower a little bit, just a tiny bit, the highlights. If I increase the clarity, put some more light into the buildings. I'm not going to touch much more. I'm going to do a couple of radial filters here just to lower this down again. So here's the radial filter tool. Okay. We've already seen it in the first video, so I'm going to go fast on this one. So I'm just going to select this, call it invert mask, or increase the feather and tone down, lower the highlights. Okay, I'm going to press new. I'm going to do another one here this part here, invert mask, feather, and highlights. Okay. I was wondering whether I would keep this one bright, but I think it's kind of nice here. So let's see, without it, with it, without it, with it. It toned down those highlights, not that were too eye-catchy, no? Well, guys, congratulations. I think we have a winner here. We just finished our image. I can't think of anything I'd like to add. So this is the point where I'm going to thank you for following my video. Thank you very much. I hope it was very helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff. I hope it was very helpful, and maybe if you're a better photographer than I am and you have some other ideas and techniques, I would really love either to know them or to hear from you. So that you can post in the comment section of this video. Thank you very much for everything. Have a pleasant day if it's the morning for you, or a pleasant evening or night if it's the evening or the night. Thank you very much.